She's April.
And she's Molly.
And we are
The Book Besties. Winter Romances.
Edition. Bum bum. I was so shocked seeing him in the makeup. He looked just like Marlon Brando.
I'm going to spribbit that belly.
A banker, not a wanker.
Hi, it's me. I'm the problem.
You know what I also learned the other day on the internet? The shit in between didn't matter.
Warm up this Christmas
With the Book
these
Besties.
winter romance novels.
This book, okay, before we even talk about this book, this book, okay, I've been struggling writing, right?
Yeah.
I've had this idea for a while.
You've had the map.
I have the map. I have the characters mapped out. I've been talking about this since before the beginning of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
This book reminded me about formatting. I figured out how to write my book. I'm going to have, by the end of break, a whole outline, April.
Wasn't the goal to outline during NaNoWriMo?
What did I do during NaNoWriMo? Willy Wonka.
And
I got sick. So I literally gave up my time for Tater, which I would do again. Those kids, that experience, if your kids, like, if you know my face from my county and your kids go to my kids' school, I enjoyed that so much. Working with those stage crew kids, I got to meet a lot of kids that were like myself. I got to meet just a huge cross section at that school. And it was worth every minute. I would give up Nano again this year. It was worth it.
Don't put that out into the universe too much. They'll ask you to do it again.
Oh, no, they've already suggested I take over next year. I am not doing a whole musical next year.
Oh, like the whole thing, or just
like no, like direct music, stage? Could you imagine?
No,
that sounds like a terrible idea, doesn't it? Like, I would self-implode
if you did that. We couldn't do pod.
No way, because like
you wouldn't be able to handle it.
It's just I can multitask, but only to a limit. What's wrong?
I'll have Katie take over for you that month. So
it'd be more than that, though. It'd be like from the beginning of Christmas to like the beginning of the school year till Christmas.
Well, Katie can take over a whole season. Listen, last year for Christmas, you got Katie and I these bookshelf bookmarks. You also got us a book rating journals, and for a while I was up to date, and then I fell out. But I still really like it, and I want to pick it back up again. But I have finished a front and back.
I love that so much.
And this is the front of my other one, which is also almost done, because I am currently one book away from 100 books this year.
Woo!
But now, let me tell you about my OCD. So I love even numbers.
Of course you do. I do too. Even numbers are the best.
Except fives, which are somehow even numbers. Don't ask me to explain.
I don't like 5. 5 can go away.
Oh, I like 5s. They're even numbers. I don't know how to explain it. Don't ask me to justify it. I'll be taking notes.
8's the right number. 8. 8's the right number. Anyways, get to your point.
So, I've read 99 books because I've read the book for this week, and I've already read our book for next week with Katie. I know what my 100th book is going to be. I'm going to read the first Throne of Glass book as an audiobook while we're traveling this holiday season.
Fun.
But I still have, 3 weeks before the month is over, before the year is out? I could read way more than one book.
You haven't finished Iron Flame yet, have you?
No, but I feel like I'm not allowed to read another book. Because 101 books is not okay.
So get 2 more in. 2 more.
I still feel weird about 102. I feel like it would be better if it was 105, but I don't think I can finish 6 books before the year's out.
What about like thin books, like 200 pages or less?
What about the trashy novellas like Trick Shot that I read?
Right. Yeah. Oh, Trick Shot. You could do novellas. You could do YA books for work. You know, you do have reading for work. You do. That counts. I don't think it's off the table to do 105. I know your reading speed, and you're going to be on
But
vacation.
Molly, if I finish at 101, I'm going to be so frustrated.
You're going to be so upset.
If I finish at 102, that's a little bit better. If I finish at 103, I'm going to be mad again. If I finish at 99, I'm going to be so mad because
You are absolutely not going to finish at 99.
No, I'm going to finish.
Absolutely not. I
Okay,
haven't even looked at how many books I read this year.
the point of all of this is to tell you that my brain is broken.
Same.
The monsters in my brain control my doubt.
Same. Piper had her ROTC ball last night and a meet this morning. So I was up till 10 picking her up from the ball. And then I was up at 5 o'clock a.m.
I thought she wasn't doing cross country this year.
Oh, no. These are ROTC meets.
ROTC meets. Oh, okay.
They got first in one thing, second in two things, and third and over in another. They got second overall.
Wow, good for them.
Yeah, they're kicking ass this year. It's impressive.
Like Cadet Kelly. You remember that movie?
The arguments about ROTC. You know what? Let's talk about this book because this book makes me way happier than talking about arguing with my daughter about her uniform.
Okay, so for this month of December, as I said at the top of the episode, we decided to do like winter holiday themed romances.
Ugh,
and
so
I had another book in mind that I wanted to do for my week because there are 3 weeks that we were doing. You had one, I had one, and we let Katie
pick one.
So I had another book in mind I wanted to do. But then I came across this book at the bookstore one day in December. And it just was this cover that I was like,
what is going on?
Clearly it takes place in England. It's clearly like some sort of meet cute. That guy looks like he could be a Colin Firth. So
that's exactly where my mind went.
So the book is One Day in December by Josie Silver. It's a #1 a New York Times bestseller. It's a Reese Book Club book. I found it in Barnes & Noble, and I thought, well, that sounds nice. Let's try that. So I've gotten into the habit now, and I know you have too. We've gotten into the habit where we don't even read the synopsis of a book.
We're going in raw.
We either get a recommendation from somebody and we decide to do it because it's a fan suggestion, and so we're just going to do it. Because or we saw it on.
They get. If the fans want it, we're going to give it to them.
Exactly.
95% of the time.
Yeah, or it's one of the book talkers or bookstagrammers that we follow that we trust recommendations from. We pick those up. Those trending books. Sometimes we read trash because of the trending books, but
trending books.
And then I would say 90% of our books post first season, because our first season we were just a lot of books that we had already loved.
We were going through our history, honestly, in season 1. We were showing you who we were and who we were as a book couple.
Yeah, I would say 90% of the books we pick now are just ones that were like, hey, that looks cute, I want to read it. No fucking clue what it's about.
No fucking clue.
And for those of you who want some insider knowledge, when we are planning a season, we have a spreadsheet and we alternate weeks. And so we throw everything on the calendar and we put the genre beside it. And then we start moving things around. So unless we've themed that month, like we do romance, like we do pride, like we do horror, or unless it's that spooky, I guess is really what it is. Unless it's that, we try to mix things up.
Right. And I'll let April go first. She's always ready. April's always ready. And I like to throw in my books to like where I think they should go. And then April's like, the librarian in her is like, hey.
I'm like, maybe we move this one here and
just a little selection, which is usually she's right because her brain works better that way than mine does.
Well, I mean, we're a good team. I think that's what it boils down to. So we are taking off the month of January. Oh, Molly just posted a video on what she's doing during pod break. I have one. By the time this episode comes out, it will also have already posted. But read along with us during pod break too. There will come as no surprise to anybody that almost all of my books are romance. And
I was going to say, are any of yours crossing over with mine? Did you have any similar?
No,
I didn't think so.
No, because you're reading historical fiction and
Romance.
historical fantasy
Yeah.
and
And thrillers.
historical romantasy. So all of
And
it.
thrillers. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm reading uh, a lot of um, romance and romantasy.
Mm.
Um,
There's nothing wrong with that either, though.
no. So let's talk about this book. One Day in
Please.
December. Would you
Ugh.
like a synopsis?
I would love a synopsis,
All right,
please.
let me give you a synopsis. The last one I get to do for season 5
And
and 2023.
2023.
One Day in December follows Lori and Jack over the course of a decade, beginning with the fateful day that Lori first laid eyes on Jack while looking out the window of a double-decker bus in London. Jack, who was sitting on a bench reading a book and wearing an exceptional pea coat, glanced up, noticing her too. Unfortunately, neither acted fast enough, and they missed the opportunity to connect. Fast forward a full year of Lori searching for "quote unquote"
Bus
busboy,
guy. Yeah,
along
good
with her
boy.
best friend and roommate Sarah, and Lori sees Jack again in her apartment with his girlfriend, who is also her roommate Sarah.
I love it.
Over the next decade, Lori and Jack will secretly pine for each other while Sarah remains semi oblivious, fall in love with other people, Lori, fall in and out of love and relationships, Jack, and fight impossibly to stay both in each other's lives and at a safe distance,
Mm-hmm.
so they are never again tempted to give in to their feelings. Like they did that one day in December where they kissed in an alleyway. With Bridget Jones vibes, this book is a Christmas time romance of fated mates and missed opportunities.
Mm. I loved this book so much.
Mm-hmm.
There's Bridget Jones in here. There's like the holiday vibes. Like,
Yeah.
this is your favorite Christmas rom com. I text April and I said, "This feels like a rom com I've watched 100
Oh
times
yeah.
and I've never read it before. This is right in my comfort zone. This
I mean,
makes
I
me
have
so
read it
happy."
before because I've read the Bridget Jones series, but yes.
Right, right. But this is that comfort window. If you are looking for a good comfort romance with a
Mhm.
little turmoil, this is it.
Yeah, this is the
This is
book
it.
that you put on your blanket, sit next to the fire with a cup of hot chocolate, and read. That's what
Yes,
this book
because
is.
this is you could devour this in a sitting.
For
You
sure.
could definitely devour this in a sitting, and it's like sitting down and watching a movie. It's spectacular.
And you read the audiobook?
I did the audiobook.
So I did a tandem read. So I read the audiobook and read the physical book so that I could finish on time.
The
Audiobook
audiobook was
narrators
enthralling.
were good.
The
Looks
narrators were very good.
very
I
good.
was very enthralled. Matthew kept getting enthralled. And I
Mhm.
was like, dude, you're on nights. You cannot sit here and listen to my book. Go
Yeah.
shower. Go do
Yeah.
whatever you're supposed to do because work, dummy.
Well, that's a good segue into my first question. So this is our first time reading Josie Silver,
Yes.
but she actually has several titles under her belt. So what do you think of her writing style, and would you read her again?
Absolutely.
Hmm
I definitely want to see. Does she have non-Christmas books, or
hmm
is her genre Christmas? She
No,
does. I would be really interested to
her
see.
genre is British romance.
I would definitely be interested to see how she writes outside of Christmas.
And there's one book that takes place in New York, but I can't confirm that the characters aren't British. I don't know, but
Mm,
it's in New York.
mm. I like her. I would
Mhm.
definitely read her again. If you put her on pod, I'll read her. If I put her on pod, I'd definitely read her. She is
Yeah,
definitely someone that knows what she's doing.
and I felt like she did a good job with the male voice.
Yes, that
With
is really hard to do
with Jack's
as a
point of
feminine
view, I
writer.
feel like she did a good job with the male voice.
She absolutely
Yeah.
did.
I feel like I could perfectly picture the character of Jack
Mhm,
and who he was.
mhm.
Um, and I mean, he's a hodgepodge of British guys,
Oh,
but
I
to
kept
me,
picturing Tom Holland for some fucking reason.
mm,
He's not blonde enough, but the dorkiness, the awkwardness, the handsome without trying, that's Tom Holland.
so I think he's more like hang on. I think he's more like Tom Hiddleston, but
Oh, okay.
a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Well, because he starts that age. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
that's where I was going with it. He also has like the goofy, awkward, but he seems like he'll be a cool guy that will work at a a radius.
Any British Tom we're good with is what we're saying, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Any British Tom.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe not any British Tom. We need approval, but you get our window.
That's
You
the
get our
one
selection
person for.
pack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what we're doing? We're saying.
Right. So we talked about in previous episodes about the fated mates trope.
Yeah.
And so do you think that Lori and Jack apply to this trope, even though this isn't a fantasy novel?
I've been thinking about this since I read this book.
Mm-hmm.
Because this isn't romantasy,
Mm-mm.
right? This isn't what the fuck is the genre in Jane the Virgin? You know that show Jane the Virgin where she's a writer and
I've never seen it.
oh my god, it's so good. Anyways, she's a writer. Anyways, I'll look it up. But it's more of a there's a whimsical side to her
Mm-hmm.
writing that it's set in the real world, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like real world with just touches of fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, and
Kind of like
that's
the book we're reading for next week too.
yes, like that.
They go
And
really well together.
they go really well together. They are a perfect pairing, and we didn't do that on purpose, guys. You should definitely read these two books back to back, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. But if it had a tinge more of like the hint of fantasy where I felt like fates were intervening, like they were being shoved together like subconsciously, then maybe I would feel more like Mated Fates. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I like Mated Fates. It's a cute genre. I love the meet cute in the beginning made me instantly want to root for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they definitely feel like they belong together and belong in each other's lives, but I don't feel like it's Mated Fates.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I don't think the fated mates was it for this. I think that
No.
um I think what they had going on is that they had a whimsical fascination with each other and both were looking for each other for a year.
Yeah.
And the likelihood that they would ever end up at the same place again in London is not likely at all.
No.
Um, the audacity that the universe would put him with her best friend.
That pissed me off.
Hmm. I have more questions about that particular aspect of it later,
But that's how life rolls, honestly.
but I didn't think it was like they were fated to be together. I think that they both tried to love other people, and sometimes you just can't help who you love, which is
No.
not an excuse to have an affair,
No.
just so everyone knows.
No.
Just so everyone knows.
April is very, very clear about this.
I hate when books are written with an affair in them. Like it really
Muddy.
I'm watching Grey's Anatomy again and I'm to the episodes where George and Izzy have an affair on Callie.
I hated that so much.
By the way, I thought that happened much later in the series than season 2.
Nope. Season 2.
That's
Like,
crazy.
what pisses me off about that, and I did content on TikTok about Grays, so we are officially a Grays adjacent podcast. So, what pisses me off about that
Mhm.
is it's lazy writing. And I'm going to call Shonda out on this because I praise Shonda all the time. That was lazy writing. You wrote two best friends, perfect male, female best friends. And the only thing you could do to create drama for them was fucking make them fuck. It's bullshit. And you know it, Shonda. It's bullshit.
And as much as Izzy was attached to Denny, there's just no way she would have jumped.
No. No. And then don't even get me fucking started on the Alex ending.
Mm. Okay. I won't get you started on it.
Ah! So mad!
So some critics. Are you done?
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's okay. You can keep going. My kids are just yelling in the background. It's fine.
It's just, why throw away all that growth for Alex? Why?
It really bothers me.
Okay, moving on.
Also, it's really unfair to Justin Chambers, who is like legitimately a good guy and
You know why?
kind of
He wanted to leave.
I know.
He wanted to leave, and Shonda and the team were pissed.
I don't blame him. They had written his character really poorly the past few seasons.
Yes. And I get it. Fuck. But then he went on to play fucking Marlon Brando. Did you see that?
No.
Oh my god! I will put the link for the show in the diddly doos. It's on Paramount Plus. It's about how the Godfather movie got made and like the behind the scenes stuff and how they like worked with the mafia and stuff. And Justin Chambers plays. I was so shocked seeing him in the makeup. He looked just like Marlon Brando.
That's crazy. He's not big enough for that.
They did it. It
Hmm.
was so good, April.
Hmm.
Okay, you want to talk about this book? I'm sorry.
Side note, he's been married for like a significant
A
amount of time.
bazillion. And they have like a bazillion kids.
They have like 5 kids and have been married since like the mid 90s.
Yeah, I think they were together in high school.
That's an uncomplicated high school or Hollywood romance. Okay. Some criticism of this book has been that it takes place over such a long period of time. So what did you think about the time jumps in this book? Because if you haven't read this book yet, just know that you start in January and then all of a sudden it's June. Like there's no in between. It's like, oh, it's January, now it's June, now it's December again. Because the bulk of the story takes place in December every year. So
I'm gonna get up and defend this.
Okay.
I'm gonna get up. Okay. Everyone that's hating on this, I want to ask you one question. Was there anything missing in the story?
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't. The timeline was necessary. You got the story through the timeline. She did this on purpose. She did this so methodically so that you knew every single moment they had together. The shit in between didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Their story was the only important thing there. And so it was those peaks in time.
You know, I actually thought the book took place over a longer period of time because it starts in December, and I don't know, December to December is a year.
Yeah.
But it feels like longer
It
because you encircled 2 different years during that time. It's just like I'm 4 months older than Tom, but I was born a whole year before him.
Right.
Because my birthday is this month and his is in April.
Are you guys doing anything at Disney for your birthday?
It's the day we check out, so we're gonna drive down and see my friend Florida Megan and her little new daughter,
Yay!
Eloise Rainey. I'm so excited to see her.
I'm so excited.
My gosh.
Oh, I can't wait to see pictures.
She keeps texting me pictures of her, and I keep like increasingly making it more awkward. Like I'm gonna sprivet that belly. I can't wait to snuggle her until she like loses breath and.
I'm that auntie,
I think I'm
though.
making Megan uncomfortable at this point.
I mean, I'm that auntie. You've seen me interact with Sammy Cakes. How many times have I squished his cheekies and go, oh, I love you so much?
The first time that I showed him a picture of her, he goes, oh, can I snuggle her? Yes.
Oh, Sammy.
100% you can snuggle her. Well,
He's
if her
such a
mom's
sweet
okay,
baby.
which Megan said it was okay. So that's what we're doing for my birthday.
That is the most joyful thing. I love that so much for you.
Yeah, then
I really do.
Which is less joyful, but
yeah.
But I'm turning 42, which for me is not a big year. It's going to be a big year when Tom turns 42 next year.
Okay.
So
duh. Get him a towel. Can I get him a towel?
You can. Expect an invitation to his birthday party because we're going to have a
I'm so excited. That'll be so fun.
Yeah.
Give me the dates sooner than later so I can get Matt's leave scheduled.
Okay. Can we talk about my husband's birthday not on pod?
Yeah. Why don't we just cut that out, Tom? Sorry.
You don't have to. He may want to. He likes his privacy a lot.
He does.
So anyway, I thought it took place in more years than it really did. And I mean, they met in December, and then it was a whole year later till they re-met, and then the way that it skips around.
How's it look in the physical copy? Like, is there dates? Is it like
so it starts with every year has a year.
Okay.
A title page year. And then the first page of that year starts with New Year's resolutions because every
year starts with her New Year's resolution, which I really liked. I thought it was very Bridget Jones. It was very Bridget Jones, but I liked it.
And then it lists the date up here at the top.
Nice.
Of each chapter. So you know that you're changing years when it tells you we're changing years. 2010. But like the first year, they meet they meet in December of 2008. And then when you jump into 2009, you get the New Year's resolutions and it skips to March. So
Huh.
you don't do every month. Now, sometimes here in the middle, you're doing multiple months in the year because
Right.
there's more that's happening.
Crossover. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
Hmm.
I want you
Interesting.
to yeah. I want you to put yourself in Lori's shoes for the
Ooh.
moment. Um to the moment where Sarah brings home Jack. So do you keep your mouth shut or do you tell Sarah the truth?
Hi, I'm Molly Biggs.
Hi, it's me. I'm the problem.
I'm saying everything. I am a uncomfortable info dumping ADHD mess. So I'm gonna be like, oh my God, 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 oh my God. And I'm gonna look at my best friend and I'm gonna start crying and be like, I'm gonna move out. And that's exactly what I would say because I wouldn't be able to stay in that house anymore because the man I had been freaking fantasizing about for a year is sleeping with my best friend and I cannot hear that.
Like I feel like she didn't handle it very well. Like
No.
there could have been more of a, oh, what are the odds?
This is so awkward. Let me
Oh,
explain this to you.
Sarah, do you know that this is Busboy? And I'm sure Jack been like, who the fuck is Busboy? Even though Jack lied about remember,
Knowing her,
but
I just feel like knowing their friendship, she would have dumped him on the spot.
she would have. But would that have been comfortable for Jack and Lori to get together? No.
No,
It,
no,
it wasn't
no.
going to benefit anybody. I think I would have just said nothing. Now Sarah
Right.
says she wished that Lori would have told her. But again, if you tell your best friend this is actually the guy I've been pining for a year,
Yeah.
I doubt that anything's going to change.
I mean,
Nothing's
it's
going to
just
change.
honestly, it would just ruin my friendship.
Yes.
It would just ruin my friendship. And in that situation, her friendship was more important than a boy she saw once.
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of the storyline in Friends when Joey was dating Kathy and
Oh yeah.
Chandler was
Was
like
madly in love with her.
pining for her. Like he met her in the cafe and then it turned out she was there for a date, which happened to be with Joey.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would have been the situation here.
Mhm.
I don't think it would have helped.
No. And
Um,
honestly, like there was no winning in that situation. None.
mm-mm.
There was no
No,
winning in that situation. If
no.
she told her best friend, she would lose her best friend. If she didn't tell her best friend, she was going to lose her best friend. So
She
like there
was
was no
yeah, she was going to hurt her best friend either way. The
either
best
way.
way she could have handled it would, not to be to make out with him
Yeah. Like
even
she
once. But
yeah. I digress though.
I do feel like Lori did really try hard to not give in to her feelings. I don't think
Yeah.
if Jack would have kissed
She
her that she would have done it.
she absolutely put that friendship first.
Mhm.
And she was young. She was in her 20s.
Mhm.
I honestly
23, I think, when the book
Yeah.
started.
I honestly could not tell you if 23-year-old Molly could do that.
Mm.
Because let me tell you what, 23-year-old Molly was a fucking mess. She
Mhm.
was barely had her life together.
Mhm.
Barely. I had just joined the military. I had not even started dating Matthew. I was scrambling. So if I honestly probably would have made a huge mess of that situation at that age.
Yeah.
Truly.
It's the courtesy of the British, though. This
Yeah.
isn't happening in this country.
No, absolutely not. My best friend and I are no longer friends. It's going to be messy. Somebody's going to end up pregnant. It's going to be a thing here.
Gosh, that escalated quickly.
That's how the states roll, man. We're messy.
It's true. Uh, we get more of a story from Lori's point of view than we do from Jack's.
Mhm.
So, would it have been better to balance it out? Maybe eliminate Jack altogether as a point of view? What do you think?
I think this is the perfect amount of Jack. I complain a lot when dual narrators don't have enough balance between
Balance?
the
Yeah.
two characters. And this is where the editing team came in like a fucking rock star. I'm promising you that. I
Hmm.
bet you there was more Jack content. And they're like, no, pull back. Leave
Hmm.
him a mystery. We only need him in this part, in this part, and this is why. And the balance of them is perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect in my opinion.
I mean, I agree with you. I feel like if you put Jack more in it, then it kind of destroys some of the mystery of what's going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it makes him more likable. Like if
Yeah.
we spent the half of the book, not a quarter, but if we spent half of the book hearing his internal monologue as he's pining for his girlfriend's best friend, we would not root for him.
No.
We would be like, gross.
Right. Right.
The only
It
way
wouldn't work. It wouldn't work.
it wouldn't. The only
It
way
wouldn't
we
work.
can root for him, the only way we can still consider him to be a good guy is if we don't get all of him. It's my complaint about Midnight Sun. I love the Twilight series. I am team Edward 100%. Then I read Midnight Sun and I was like, oh, so he's kind of a creeper. He
So
really was stalking her.
yeah. Oh,
Charlie
he
might
was
have been
gross.
right to try to keep them apart.
Okay, so if you're not on, since we're talking about Twilight, you definitely opened the door for this. If you're not on Twilight shit posts on Facebook, what are you doing with your life? 1. 2,
You're
they
missing
post.
out on the tit soaking.
Oh my god, so much.
Is like
2, someone suggested that they make a book from Charlie's point of view, and they call it Blue Moon, like the fucking beer.
no. I would read that. I'd read the hell out of that. I
I would
want
read the hell out of
where,
that.
I
Could
want
you
the piece where Jacob transforms into his werewolf form. I want Charlie's point of view on what
the
fuck
fuck?
is happening.
God damn it, kid! But you know what I also learned the other day on the internet? And this isn't Taylor Lautner's
I
fault.
don't even think I could begin to guess.
Taylor Lautner isn't indigenous.
You didn't know that?
No.
I thought you knew that.
I didn't know that.
No.
That kind of makes my heart sad. Like the lack of like I knew the indigenous representation in that novel was really disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts my heart. Anyway, sorry. You want to talk about this book?
Any day. Is Jack a villain for staying with Sarah for so long when he very clearly had feelings for, maybe even was in love with Lori?
You could say the reverse for Lori then. But no, because he had feelings for Sarah. He really did have feelings for Sarah.
I don't know that he loved Sarah.
I don't think he loved Sarah either, but I don't think
Sarah.
Jack ever loved anybody, honestly.
But Lori.
But 1, I don't think the book moves forward without them staying in a relationship. 2, I really think he was just trying to suppress it, especially since Sarah is on paper who he needed in life, right? Mm-hmm. Sarah was the woman that was going to propel him forward, was going to help his career, she was going to get her career taken off, his career was going to take off, and they were going to be magic, right?
And that's who he ends up dating after her, too.
Right. And it's just...
I think that Jack is a cliche, in this point only, he's a cliched 20-something who he's found a girl, he's settled, she's a good enough lay. Mm-hmm. I'm in my early 20s. Why do I need to be serious with anybody anyway?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But do you think that Sarah was really that oblivious?
No. I'm sure in the back of her mind, it was niggling. I'm sure every time those two were alone, talking, giggling, whatever, she just looked over him and like, why are they so close? No, it's nothing. No, it's nothing. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think that probably got to her a lot over the years.
The woman always knows.
The woman always knows. I'm telling you what, our intuition is spot on, men. Mm-hmm. If you don't think your wife knows, she fucking knows. Your girlfriend knows, your baby mama, your situationship, whatever the fuck you guys are. They know. Mm-hmm. They know.
Do you think that Sarah was only attracted to him because he fit the description of busboy?
No. This is where fated mates come in. And this is where like that romantasy would have like the little bit of fantasy would have pushed this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I lost my train of thought.
I think Sarah was attracted to him because she had just spent a whole year trying to find him with Lori. And I
exactly.
That's what I asked. I didn't I ask that question?
Yes, but then I lost my train of thought and
that's okay. I think that after spending a whole year of hearing about him and on and on and on,
Well, and just
she picked out the guy that resembled that who was stuck in her head.
yeah, like it's just
What are the odds that it would actually be him?
none. Only in a book.
Only in a book.
Only in a book.
Does that make her a bad friend that she found him?
Fuck no. That was an accident. That was subconscious.
I
She
mean,
didn't go out
she
looking for
got
her best
the
friends.
elevator Grey's Anatomy style.
Facts.
So,
Facts. That was 100% Grey's Anatomy. 100.
um, all right. Lori decides to take a holiday to get away from the messy triangle.
Word.
While on holidays, she meets. By the way, side note, I want the kind of time off that British people get.
Seriously?
She had like a
Seriously.
shitty job and just decided to go on holiday for what was she going to be on for 2 weeks?
Yeah, she just took off.
Who has that kind of money? I'm just going to
Nobody.
count for 2 weeks. It's fine. No big
Nobody.
deal.
Nobody. Nobody has that kind of money.
And Oscar was there already for 2 months. Like, what kind of banker gets to be out of the office for that?
Someone that has a lot of fucking money in their family.
I guess. All right, Lori decides to take a holiday to get away from the messy triangle. While on holiday, she meets Oscar, a banker, not a wanker, also from London.
A banker, not a wanker.
The two fall in love mostly and
Ish.
eventually get married. What did you think of their relationship?
He was her 99%.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've all dated someone that like fits the mold, right?
Mm-hmm.
They feel right. That they look how we want. We pictured our mate. We get along with them. They're
Mm-hmm.
sweet. They're kind. Our family likes them, but we're missing that one little thing that makes them make you sparkle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't make her sparkle. He didn't make her
No.
sparkle, and that sucks.
He was not the guy for her.
He
Ever.
wasn't it. He never was. Never was gonna be.
And I was surprised that the hookup on vacation became. Well, I really wasn't because I thought that would happen, but
Right.
in reality, I would have been surprised if that's what happened.
But IRL, this would have never happened IRL.
No.
If our friend, if Katie was single and went on like a long vacation and texted us and been like, I'm in love with this guy and we're moving back to London together, I'd be like, bitch, fucking try that again.
It's the same thing that I was talking about last week with Royal Holiday. That's why I didn't like their relationship.
Nope.
And also, like, Oscar, such a fucking asshole. He can't take off time for work to be home with his wife. But he takes off 2 months and goes to Thailand. Like,
he honestly, Oscar was looking for someone to fit his life.
He needed the
Oscar,
wife.
He wanted a wife. Mm-hmm. And guess what? He found a wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he wanted.
He didn't pick the one Mama wanted. Of course, Oscar's mom, great segue, does not approve of the working class Lori because apparently it's still the Regency era with the upstairs downstairs.
Duh.
In fact, she keeps a photo of Oscar's with his ex prominently displayed in her house.
She's
even
gross.
After he and Lori are married. Thoughts?
I had a near mother-in-law like this. I won't name names. This was earlier in my life. She didn't put pictures of the ex out. I was the first for this person, but it was very apparent I was never going to be good enough for this partner. And the longer this person and I were together, the worse she treated me. My mom was the divorced mom in town. You know,
yep.
I am soiled goods.
I have that boyfriend too.
So that's never your family. If there is a mother-in-law like this, it is the biggest red flag, especially if he doesn't stand up for you. And Oscar never once went to bat for her. Like, as soon as if Matt would see that, if we were at my mom's house and my husband looked over and saw a picture of me and my ex, and was like, what the fuck? And I looked over and I saw that and be like, Ma, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I would never put my partner or future spouse in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I would never.
It's sort of very Rebecca Gillies from the second Bridget Jones. Like, I knew there was going to be the chance of an affair. I knew there was going to be, like, her trying to get with him. And it's fine. It only has to be when we're here. And you can be married when you go home. Like, I knew that was going to be a thing. And even though he said he never cheated on Lori, he 100% the night that they broke up, I'm certain he banged her. Certain.
Mm-hmm.
He went to that girl's house.
Oh, 100%. He was like, oh, my mom's right. I was wrong. I belong with her. That's why she was working with me. The fact when he first started going to Berlin and she didn't have a job or anything, why didn't he go, hey, I know you're feeling some kind of way about this, but why don't you come spend a week or two? Feel it out. See if you like it. That's how relationships work.
Right.
This man just said, nope, my life, not yours. And I hate that. I hate that.
He didn't even, like, question whether he was going to take the job. He went ahead and did it, even though she explicitly told him, I don't think this is what will work for us. I don't want this. He just did it anyway.
Yep.
He didn't want to hear her.
Nope.
You got to tell me that there's not any other banker job in London?
None. There's no banks in London. Didn't you hear? The money markets are closed there. It is a barter country now. London is only bartering. It's not a country, it's a city, sorry.
I got you. So I want to talk about the breakup between Lori and Sarah. This felt
friendship breakups are real.
Yes, this felt like the Bridget version, or the British version, not the Bridget version, but the British version of Something Borrowed to me. Thoughts?
Yes. This was...
Which was our first episode. If you haven't... our first
192 of you have downloaded it.
Our first episode is really Meet the Book Besties, but then our second episode, which is like our first book discussion, is Something Borrowed. So,
But yeah, it is definitely Rachel. It is definitely Something Borrowed. It is, oh my God, it is her storming into the apartment.
First.
It was her storming into the apartment, finding Dex in the closet, and looking at Rachel and going, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Right? And I'm still Team Rachel to this day, but I've been in Rachel's position, so I can't really, like, argue it without putting myself on blast. So here's the deal. She had every right to break that bond. Every right to break that bond. Leaving her high and dry on her wedding day, that's fucked.
Really shitty.
That is really fucked. But I get it. I get it. Your feelings were fucking hurt. You have every right to have your feelings hurt. But she's literally marrying another dude.
Yeah.
She's literally marrying another dude. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that time, Sarah wasn't marrying her Aussie boyfriend yet, but she was already with him.
She was definitely going to be with him forever. Like, he's the guy. He's the guy. He's the guy.
All right, so let's talk about the ending with the radio show call-in cliche. Were you happy they finally found their way to each other?
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. And with their meet cute beginning, a meet cute ending is exactly what we needed. But it was giving Tom Hanks. It was giving Sleepless in Seattle. It was, I don't know how to end it.
Sleepless in Seattle. They don't even meet until the very end.
I know. It was just, it worked.
For me, it was, yes, Sleepless in Seattle because they'd meet, but it was more when Harry met Sally. When you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, you want the rest of your life to start right now.
Right then and there, yeah.
So she went and found him, and they started the rest of their life.
Which is adorable. But also, damn, that took too long.
It's impossibly rom-com-y. And
It's impossibly rom-commy.
the length of time is very similar to When Harry Met Sally as well.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. It is
It's
all our
just
favorite rom-coms.
missing the Carrie Fisher character.
I miss Mary
Sarah's not
Carey. As always, we miss you, Carrie.
that. Ugh. The
God, we
anniversary
miss
of
you,
her
baby.
death is coming up too.
We miss you, Carrie Fisher.
Mm.
So much.
I'm
So
gonna take
much.
a picture with Leia at Disney, and that's gonna be my thing. I had shirts made for us. Side note, I had shirts made for us for Magic Kingdom and for Hollywood Studios.
I love
And mine
that.
for Hollywood Studios, well, our Hollywood Studios ones came today. Mine for Hollywood Studios says Jedi Mom.
I like
And the
that.
boys have Jedi is in training shirts.
That's cute. So I'm assuming Tom says Jedi then.
No,
What's it say?
it says pew 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 pew.
Oh, or Sith Lord. I wasn't sure. I didn't know where we were going with this.
He is a Sith Lord. Yeah, he's totally dark side. But no, it just says
That's
pew
okay.
pew 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 pew.
That's adorable too.
It's really cute. All right. I don't have a question about Jack's accident, but I sort of feel like we need to talk about it a little bit. Do you think it was necessary to the story? I mean, it was sort of a
He
catalyst for him and Sarah to break up, but what do you
he
think?
needed his life to get fucked. You know what I mean? He
Mhm.
needed his life to fucking take a downward spiral. He really needed to get his shit just like all fucked up.
Mhm. Yeah.
He definitely needed that moment.
Mhm.
Was it that?
Mhm.
No. Could it have been Sarah dumping him and then instantly what was the main character's name? God damn
Lori.
it. Lori. And then Lori going, hard pass. You know what I mean? It could have definitely been like him just being emotionally
Mhm.
damaged. I think it was just a metaphor for that, right?
Mhm.
I think she was trying to be gentle about the metaphor of his life not working, and so he got hit by a car.
The only thing that came out of it that like pushed the story further was that he realized he had to leave London
Right.
and
Like he
Sarah
had to
met
start over.
her actual
Person
100%. Yeah.
OTP.
Yeah, I don't think it was totally necessary, but I also don't think it took away from it. I think it also showed like the cracks in Sarah
Him?
in Jack's
Yeah.
relationship
Well,
and like
they were already fractured,
mhm.
right? Him and Sarah were already falling apart.
They were fractured the day that he walked into her apartment and realized that Lori was her roommate.
They should have ended things then.
Absolutely.
He should have been a gentleman and just been like, you know what I mean? Not explained why, just been like, bow out.
Hmm.
But he didn't.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Yeah. They were young then. Over the course of a decade,
And
you're
you literally ruined all of your 20s.
yeah.
You wasted your time so long on your 20s with this guy.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
But raise your hand if you haven't wasted part of your time of your 20s with a guy.
I have wasted part of my 20s with a guy too.
Same. Raise your hand, bitches. We know you're out there.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Except for Katie. She's been with the same guy since high school.
She has.
What the hell, dude? Must be nice.
Good for her.
Right?
Good for
Good for you. Bitches.
um
Anyways.
okay, so I don't have anything else. Do you have anything to add? I
I
gave
can't
it a
wait.
4 out of 5 on Goodreads.
I gave it a 4.
Nice.
Um the structure definitely inspired me and I'm really excited to start writing.
Hmm.
That's like my big takeaway from this book.
Hmm.
So, which I loved it. It was rom-commy. It definitely helped me wrap a shit ton of presents. It
It was a
definitely,
great transition after the book last week too, which was a
yeah, like we needed pure love and joy,
mhm.
and it
And this was an example of a closed door romance that I still thought brought it.
yep, yep.
Like
But
you
it
get little
was,
glimpses, but mostly it's closed door.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It
And
was
I
good.
still felt like I wasn't missing the sex. I liked the book.
I needed like it was a rom-com.
Hmm.
Period.
Hmm.
It was
It
great.
had 90s rom com vibes
All over it. All over it.
all over it.
We just needed the music. I
Mhm.
honestly could create a playlist for this now of like
Mhm.
80s and 90s music that would be,
Mhm.
but
Last
I
Christmas would be
digress.
like the main song.
Last Christmas, you got to put Wham on there. You
Mhm.
got to have a little David Bowie, a little Backstreet Boys, some In Sync, maybe Wilson Phillips. Hold on for one more day. You know, just like really bring in that rom-com-y vibe.
I like it.
Thanks. I'm pretty good at that.
I like it. Well, do you want to talk about what we're doing next week?
Yes.
Okay.
And then after that.
So next week we are joined by Nurse Katie. She's actually going to host, and we're going to talk about In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. And I finished yesterday, and I think you and Katie also finished yesterday, right?
I finished a couple days ago. I blew through that book.
It was
Blew
good.
through that book.
Well,
it was
I don't
so
want to
good.
give away how I feel about it because we got to talk about it next week.
We're going to talk about it next week.
But that's what we're doing next week, and then we're
on a break, bitches.
Yeah, we're on a break. We'll be back in February with romance novels.
And I'm hopefully going to have an outline. I better have a fucking outline.
I think you should try to have an outline in like a chapter or something. Like an outline is not very much.
Well, my goal is to completely map out every date from the beginning of the book to the end of the book, writing what happens on those dates so that I have a structure as I go down through the book. But this book's taking place from 93 till 23. So I have a lot of dates to fill in. Yeah. It's just going to take a little bit.
Annapolis Book Festival has started releasing their author list. There's some more. The full panels will be listed in February, but definitely check their website. We are the official pod of the con.
Whoop, whoop!
The pod of the festival. So
no big deal.
Yeah.
Just the capital of Maryland.
It's very cool. The authors that we met last year, one of them is actually coming back in February.
And we had one on last month.
We had one in November, Addison Armstrong. And our connection with Cece Harrington has actually helped with work stuff. So
I actually was wondering if she's been writing. I might bug her, see how her writing's going.
Christina?
Yeah.
She had a deadline this year. She told us that in Annapolis.
I know. I'm going to check in. All right, bestie. I'm done. I ain't got nothing else.
Me too. I think I might go take a nap because I is tired.
I can't nap during the day, or I would. I'm gonna go get Stony Pants and zone out for a little bit because I need it.
Close enough.
Same thing, same diff, just different. Same thing, different font.
All right, we'll see you guys next week with Nurse Katie.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on Book Besties. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The views discussed here are those of April and Molly, not those of anyone else. Today's book was One Day in December by Josie Silver. Your Book Besties are Molly Biggs and April Watkins, editing by Thomas Watkins, and music is Sleep Sweetly by Prigida. Don't forget to follow the Book Besties on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you'd like to contact the Book Besties, please email us at bookbestiespod@gmail.com or visit our website, bookbestiespodcast.com. Until next time, besties, get lost in your favorite book.